All right, welcome back. We're here for the start of season 42. This time, Forloki's taking on HC Magneto. We're bringing a team of Warlock, Galan, and Hulkling. It comes along. He did have a planned fight, but that changed as the war went on. Along the top, you can see the blacklist on the left. The three champions banned this war in the middle, and the blacklist on the right. Then in section 1, I'm on path 3, just one fight, and then the new node 20. And then in section 2, I was back up and had the new node 46. And then I did have a planned fight against Shocker on 48, but we ended up swapping that, and I cleaned up another fight on 53. So first up, we have this Scorpion fight. Gonna be taking it with Warlock. Honestly, there's nothing at all to this. It's pretty much just a diversity placement. Scorpion doesn't benefit from any of these nodes. The plan here is just going to be parry heavy, let him bleed out. If he has willpower, he's never going to throw a special. If he doesn't, the specials just don't matter. Warlock's poison immune, so we'll never get the poisons on us. And even if he does hit us with a special too, the petrify is not going to do anything because we don't have any willpower because we're a robot. Next up, we have Bishop. He is a global defender. For some reason, Kabam hasn't updated the global description. It says 20, but it's really just 2% of a bar of power per second for prowess. In this fight, it's pretty much going to be the exact same plan as the Scorpion. Although if this defender is not running willpower, we're going to be taking advantage of the personal space regeneration to keep him draining and never throwing a special. We'll start out hoping he has willpower, and then if he doesn't, adjusting and going to the 4-hit turtle and just staying close to him so he always has a regeneration buff on him. And finally, we have this immortal Iron Doom, whatever his name is, infamous Iron Man, that's it, on this new node 46. We're going to be using Galan here to take advantage of the Burden of Might, trying to power drain us every time we have a dexterity buff. The high energy diet pretty much says try not to use Magneto. And the reason why I didn't want to use Warlock, I didn't want to use Hulkling for this fight, is I didn't want to deal with the unblockable while he has his long regen buff at the end. And I also didn't want to deal with Hulkling not having combat power rate due to Burden of Might. Gallon not having it's pretty simple. Just do your simple Gallon stuff, Dex, and take advantage of the power drain with your signature ability, and then just heavy and let the harvest expire, and that's going to finish him off. Moving on to attack, we have this Scorpion fight. Gonna be really, really simple with Warlock. Um, I do get a little bit surprised in this fight because I don't think this uh, was placed with Max Limper, so I was able to just stun him forever. One thing is, I really just don't like this attack tactic. The power burn is so negligible that it just almost doesn't even exist. I think it's a whopping like 1% per armor. It just really doesn't do anything. It's mostly just for their prowess removal. You can see here how long these stuns are lasting. I was a little bit confused by it at first. It was like, I'm actually fighting for a war, right? Yeah, and then since we're only hitting him while he's stunned, you never have to worry with his evade. More heavy finishes him. So not a whole lot to worry about here. And then moving on to this bishop. So this fight ended up being without um, willpower. Definitely took me for a surprise. Wasn't expecting it for one. So you can see it takes me a little while to recognize that. As you can see there without the regen buff. Yeah, no, he got the bleed and he's not regenning. Takes me a little bit to recognize what's going on, a little bit to readjust the strategy in this fight. Either I'm still trying to bleed him out and get it going, but now we're doing the 4 hits, turtling up, and letting him try and heal, and just end the fight that way. Not a whole lot here. Warlock just pretty much destroys whatever Bishop's going to try to do here on this node. Not a whole lot Bishop could do there. Then moving on to this fight, going to be really fun. You'll see how little power Galan gets due to Burden of Might. I did try this in the off season just to make sure it would work as I expected it to, and it does look like Burden of Might was actually fixed, so Dexterity only triggers the power drain once instead of twice like it had been doing, because I'm only getting 60 instead of 120 mass whenever I use the Dexterity. So Hulkling, he would have done the exact same thing here, except he would have had to rely solely on his ability power rate from his buff gain. And I just felt more comfortable letting Galen's Harvest expire rather than thinking I was out of special 2 and then throwing special 1s repeatedly and the fight taking longer than it needed to. You can see here we're at 900 mass. This is pretty much over, and he drops mid special. Always fun when they just drop over middle of their special like that. And yeah, I was thinking that was going to be the end of the war since the Shocker fight on Node 48 had been taken, but I needed to clean up this WeaponX on Node 50, the Stun Reflection node. So going in here with Warlock. Not a whole lot to this, it's pretty standard. WeaponX isn't going to be able to regen after you're able to get some attacks in, but yeah, just another reason why I don't like this attack tactic is the power burn does so little that you can't stop them from getting power even if you're running Collar Tech 4 out of 5, and then you can't reliably manage their power the same way you used to, because if you want them to go to a special 2, you're going to keep draining them to a special 1 when you expect them to be a special 2. So it's just a little bit of annoyance, but I've just got to live with it for 2 seasons and see if anything changes after that. But yeah, one more hit here and this fight will be over. So, in hindsight, maybe I should have assigned this to myself with Warlock, but I was, like I said, planning to take the Shocker on Node 48, so I would have been on the other side. We ended up having rank 5 Valkyrie take the Shocker instead, so they could go ahead and finish their path. And yeah, no, they took that well. That does it for War 1. We did end up winning. A little bit sloppy, but expected with 3 weeks of off season, which, by the way, fantastic. Would love that every season. Probably won't get it, but we can dream. Thanks for watching.